Welcome back to Well, What Do You Know? This week's episode features a conversation that's honest, raw, and at times hard, but also incredibly powerful. My guest, Kelsey Lust, shares her story of growing up in a complicated family, navigating loss and trauma at a young age, and finding resilience through some truly difficult chapters of her life. This is a conversation about perseverance, accountability, and what it really takes to keep moving forward when life doesn't go the way you planned. I'm really grateful that Kelsey was willing to share her story, and I think you'll take something meaningful away from it. This is, Well, What Do You Know? All right, Kelsey, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So why don't you start with just tell me about your childhood, where you grew up, family members. Let's set the stage.
Okay. Mom and Dad, Randy and Judy, never got married, but had me.
Okay.
And only me. And split when I was 2-ish, somewhere around there. And so they each got remarried.
Okay.
Dad and Alicia, Mom and Matt. They each had 3 kids with their new spouse. So Mom had Josh, Sarah, Joe, and Dad had Brooke, Brandy, Brian. And I did have a stepsister from Dad and Alicia, as Alicia's child, Cassandra. And when we fast forward, I'll tell you the rest of that story because it's chronological order.
Right.
Got to go in order.
All right. So 2 years old, you don't remember a whole lot of that, do you?
No, I mean, bits and pieces. And I think a lot of it was probably stories that my parents have told me that you think you remember, but you don't really.
Right. Yeah. So did you live with Mom mostly then?
Yeah, I lived with Mom. Mom had mom's from Mingo originally, and Dad is from Baxter.
Okay.
My dad's dad, my grandpa Larry, was in the Baxter district, but it was before it was Baxter School, I believe. It was like the corner country schools.
Sure, okay.
So he's from, the area. My dad went to Baxter. My mom went to Colfax Mingo.
Was it Colfax Mingo then? They were already combined?
No, it was the Mingo Mohawks when she went there.
Okay, all right.
And I think she was one of the last classes before they combined.
Okay.
So I went with Mom to Mingo when her and Dad separated, and she had the hair hut salon in Mingo.
Mm-hmm.
So we lived in the basement of that.
Okay.
And the only thing I remember about that place is I broke my collarbone. I fell out of bed. We had a queen size bed in the basement, and it was like concrete floors.
Yeah.
It's like our little apartment below the salon.
Right.
And I don't remember doing it. I remember after the fact, playing with my toys and passing out. And Mom took me to the hospital, and they found out that I had a broken collarbone. It was like a week later.
Yeah, because that's not really a visual break, is it? I mean, you don't really know that until...
Yep. Yeah. Mom just said that I fell out of bed that night, and she put me back in bed, and I was fine. And a week later, broken collarbone. So
I've always known you as a tough kid.
Yeah.
That seems to go back to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. And then, so I would go to Dad's on the weekends, and he just lived outside of Baxter. Every other weekend at Dad's, and then every Wednesday night, I believe, maybe every other, my dad's mom, my grandma Ruth, would come get me and spend time with them because my dad farms, and he was too busy to leave the field or do whatever to come get me for a 3-hour visit. And then Mom and Matt, so Matt is from Runnels.
Okay.
And so we moved over there and lived on a little acreage outside of town, and had a kind of little hobby farm with horses and a few cattle and chickens and goats, sheep, rabbits. So I had a lot of good times there. I mean, I really picked up on the horse stuff.
Yeah.
And so, it just quite a drive. I mean, 40 minutes apart from each other. And splitting your time and going back and forth and helping Dad on the hog farm and helping mom at home, and
Yeah.
so it was a good time. I mean, I had a lot of good childhood memories.
So who was the first half sibling then born?
Would have been Josh.
Josh. So how many years are there between you guys?
4.
Okay, so you had 4 years between. Yeah, 4 years alone.
Yep.
Yeah, 4 years of just Kelsey getting all the attention.
Yep. And then it all ended.
So where did you then end up starting school?
So I went to 4 Mile Elementary
Okay.
over by Runnels area,
Right.
and then Southeast Pope Junior High. And around that time, my mom's dad, my grandpa Keith, Tiffany, got sick with ALS, and they lived in Mingo. So my mom wanted to be closer to her dad, so we sold the place over in Runnels and moved to outside of Baxter, just off the Ikes Road, and to a bigger acreage with more cattle and
Yeah.
stuff. So that way we could go to Mingo all the time and see them. So
Right.
then I switched to Baxter. So, and it was, cool that I could go to the school that my dad went to and my grandma and whatnot. So that's where we started at Baxter in 9th grade.
In what grade?
9th.
9th grade. Okay. All right. What was that like starting a new high school?
It was like culture shock from Southeast Polk.
Sure, I bet it was. I bet it was because do you have any idea how many were in your class at the 8th grade in Southeast Polk?
I believe it was around 2,000 total.
Sure.
And that
Sure.
might have been just in the middle school, 7th and 8th grade. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if that was just my class.
Right.
But it was significantly larger.
Yeah, and then you go to Baxter and your class is what, 35?
I think we had 30 girls and 8 boys.
Okay, so
Don't ask me why I remember that.
well, I think I know why you remember that.
Yeah.
Who was in your class at that time? Your graduating class at Baxter?
It was 09, and that was like Riley Dawson is my
Yeah,
cousin.
yeah.
And Megan Overton,
Yep. Okay.
Chelsea Thatcher,
Yep.
and like Julia Robinson and Mackenzie
Yeah.
Meyer.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So that was, you guys would have been sophomores when I got to Baxter. Because when I started coaching basketball my second year at Baxter, and Julia, Jordan Maher, Mackenzie Petermeyer, they were all juniors at the time.
Okay.
So that would have been my second year. So you would have been sophomore and got to teach you in math. Tell me about the rest of high school.
I did 4-H a lot.
Oh yeah.
So I did, before I moved to Baxter, I was at Polk County Fair.
Right.
And then when I went to Baxter, it was Jasper County Fair, which was, again, huge culture shock.
Right.
because Polk County was
Right.
so huge.
Right.
A lot more competition,
Right.
But I did a lot of pulls and barrels and figure 8 barrels. And,
Oh, so you were riding?
yeah, I did a lot of
Oh,
horse stuff.
yeah, okay.
And, got a lot of grand champions and reserve champion and high point game horse. And, that was probably my best childhood memories was 4-H and riding
Yeah.
a horse.
Good. Which started at that little farm in
Yeah.
Runnels,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been riding horses. My stepdad, Matt, got me into horses. Him and my mom got married, I think, when I was 4, and he got me my first. That's my first horse, and I had her my whole entire childhood, until I was
Yeah.
21. So,
Yeah. So at 4, we're backtracking a little bit, but what do you remember from your mom getting married? That had to be exciting for you,
I think so. I don't remember it being a bad thing.
right?
I think I thought it was cool to have Matt there because, like I said, my dad is a good person, but he was too busy he worked. He is the hardest working person I ever met in my life.
Right.
And does not take time to do that stuff.
Right.
So Matt probably bonded with me more than any of his own 3 kids because I was interested in the horse.
Sure.
And that's what he liked to do.
Yeah.
So, he taught me how to ride, and if you fall off, you got to get back on and stop running that freaking horse towards the barn. You don't run her towards the barn. And, Yeah, well, here's why you don't run her towards the barn, because now she just took off on you and you got thrown off trying to run home fast. Stop running towards home.
So you were thrown a couple of times, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. I've broken my arm, wrist on horses, and, well, that's about the worst. Well, it's just your pride. But
Right. Right.
I mean, up until a year ago, I got thrown off. But Mom and Matt were pretty good at the start.
Yeah.
So both my parents got remarried. They both had 3 kids. They both got divorced again.
Okay.
So it's like deja vu on both sides.
Right.
So Mom and Matt were married until I was 18 or 19.
Okay.
So for like 17 years,
Right.
18 years, something like that. And Mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she was an awesome mom. I mean, she took us to everything, and she'd be up till 3 o'clock in the morning mopping the floors every night. I mean, just did everything. And took care of the outside. She mowed the acreage and all that, because Matt also was a hard worker.
Right.
Like, he worked at Waldinger at the time. You know, I remember times that my brother Josh was kind of a little butthead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he was the kid that at 2 years old, he would push the chair to the fridge and crawl up on top of the stove and get up on the fridge and get into the finger paints that Mom had stashed up there. And I remember one time we had just got new white carpet in our living room, and it was like $3,000, and that was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And Mom took a bath. My mom was a bath person every single night. She had like her, we call her think tank. Right. She took a bath, and Josh was supposed to be sleeping, and she'd come out and sees him in the carpet digging that figure of paint in.
Oh.
And she's like, oh my gosh, I was going to kill him. I was going to absolutely kill him. And I had to call my mother-in-law, Ginger, that please come get this kid. Please come get him.
Right. Save him.
And it was, put him in the bathtub, the empty bathtub, and shut the door and walk away. I'll be there in 5 minutes. And because it was just constant stuff like that with Josh. He just being a kid.
Yeah.
But come to find out, he was always sick, always had a runny nose, and the doctors would always give him cough syrup. Well, he's pinging on cough syrup.
Oh.
It was just allergies. He should have had allergy medicine the whole time. But yeah, that was an ordeal. And then when Josh got older, and Sarah and Joe, Sarah was never a problem, but Josh and Joe were boys.
Yeah.
And I know
they were full on too.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. And I remember Mom asking Matt, can you help me? I need your help to discipline them. Because Matt wanted to be the friend, the good guy.
Right.
And he had told her, I don't know if he was serious or not, but you take care of them now when they're little, and then when they turn 8 or 10, then I'll jump in. I'll be the fun dad.
Yeah. All right.
And she's like, excuse me?
Yeah.
I know there was, and Josh could probably tell you the story better than me, but he had gotten in trouble for something, and Matt wasn't doing anything, and Mom's like, are you going to do something? Are you going to say something here? Mm-hmm. And Matt finally, gets all mad because he's tired of hearing Mom complain, and goes upstairs and to the bedrooms, and I was listening, and I hear Matt tell Josh, you better yell like this hurts. You better yell loud enough so your mom can hear. And then I hear this clapping. And I hear Josh, oh.
Not a good actor, huh?
Yeah, and if you ask Matt, we actually just talked about this not too long ago, and he was like, and then I walked out of Josh's room and your mom was standing outside the door. And she was not too impressed. So
that's hilarious.
It all turned out okay, but I think if Matt would have been a little more present, and you have to be the bad guy sometimes being a parent.
Yeah, you do.
I think that things would have went easier for my mom.
It sounds like you still talk to him, though.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, good.
Yep, he lives in Swan.
Okay.
So just not too terribly far from
Right.
there, but
Right.
so, and he's remarried.
Okay.
So, yeah, they got divorced, and Mr. Seal sold their house,
Okay. Yeah.
and she moved to Baxter, and I think rented a house from Kunkel's for a while, and then she opened her hair salon back up in Collins,
Okay.
and Matt went to Altoona first, and then ended up in Swan and remarried, and Mom dated a guy for 12 years that was,
Wow, 12 years.
yeah,
Wow.
12 years after that they just finally split, and it's way for the better.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, my childhood was so terrible and whatnot, but everybody has terrible things that happen
Yeah.
at a moment in time, but I love my childhood. We had a great time.
Well, and there are some people that have a terrible childhood because their family stays together. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I learned a long time ago not to make a judgment just because it's a blended family, let's say. Yeah.
Yep. I never planned on being a blended family myself. It was like, I've got mom and dad and stepmom, mom and stepdad, both them split. Now I've got dad and new stepmom, and ex-stepdad and new wife, and I didn't want to be like that.
Yeah, you almost have to have notes to keep
Yes.
track of it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was not my plan to end
Yeah.
up that way, and here I am, blended
Well-
family again.
Yeah. All right, so let's finish up high school. What happened after high school? What did you decide to do?
So after high school, I was itching to move out.
Sure.
I could not, and I turned 17, and I was a senior, and I graduated at 17 because my birthday is not till end of July.
Okay.
So you still live under my house, my
Right,
rules,
right.
and you're not 18, you're not grown. So and I was like counting down the days till I turned 18. And I had been dating the same guy for my junior and senior year from Newton. So I moved out with him and to Newton. And I worked at Maytag Dairy Farm, which I loved.
Yeah.
But I couldn't pay the bills working there for
Right.
$10 an hour. And I couldn't even tell you all this series of jobs. I've worked so many places.
Well, what did you love about the job at Maytag?
It was just a really neat process.
What was your job?
I started up, quote, up the hill, is what they called it, because they have two different locations. One at the top of the hill, one at the bottom of the hill.
That makes sense. Yeah. Not just a clever name.
Yes. So up with the hill, I packaged the blue cheese, and it started out a seasonal job for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And so did all the packaging, scraping all of the nasty mold off the blue cheese. It's like pudding.
Oh, Christ. Wow,
And
people
then-
eat that stuff.
Then they make it into the stuff you scrape off. They make it into stink bait for catfish.
That makes sense.
Yep, it 100% does.
Yeah.
They dip them in wax, so it's complete surrounded in wax. So that's a
Right.
wheel of cheese. You cut the wax off, scrape the nasty crap off, and then package it. So I did that all day long. It was like a factory job. And you're wearing white scrubs all day with a hairnet and
Yeah.
latex clothes. It's not glamorous. And then when they decided they could keep me on full time, I went down the hill, which is where they make the cheese, and you're in the caves. It's
Yeah.
caves and racks of cheese with water dripping on them and growing fuzzy mold, and every so often you have to go and do like a quarter turn on the cheese, just turn it
Yeah.
a little bit so it gets mold on the opposite side. Dip them in wax, and it was just a cool process.
Yeah.
And they've got big huge vats, and it looks like cottage cheese coming down.
Right.
And you take your cheesecloth and you're like rolling it to the other person. I got so much strength after that from lifting, 50 pounds over your head all day.
Right.
And salt in the cheese, and then you put it in colanders, and it forms a block. And
Wow.
it was pretty cool. Then we had to, pressure wash everything all night or every night. So that didn't pay worth a crap.
It
But
sounds like it should have paid better.
it should have. You got home and you smelled like cat litter every night.
Oh,
It was gross.
gross.
But it was a really neat process. So yeah, I worked there for a while, and then I got a job at John Deere in Ankeny in the factory, and I was trying to do both jobs. And then John Deere had like mandatory overtime, and I was like, I can't work any more hours than I'm already working. There's no more hours in the day. And I hated it at John Deere. It was a hot factory, and not to toot my own horn, but I was a good looking girl, and you're working in a factory with all grown men, and you walk in and everyone's just oogling, and men are disgusting. No offense. And it's hot in there. There's no air, and it was horrible. And you're just doing the same thing, putting a headlight in a package all day long.
Oh, yeah.
I can't keep doing this. So I quit that and kept my dairy farm job. I quit my $25 an hour job at 18 years old to keep my $10 an hour job.
Right.
But I want to be happy what I'm doing. And had a bunch of series of jobs then, and ended up moved back in with my dad for a week or two when we had our big breakup, my first, huge breakup.
Right.
And about a week of living with Dad, I was like, yep, I need to get my own place. My dad he's a very cool dude, actually, but he is strict, and no means no. And
Right.
you don't question it. You don't ask why. You don't second guess it.
Right.
You don't even ask to start with, because it's no. So I got, my own apartment and kept slaving away at the dairy farm, and decided to go to college. And my mom took me to a career counselor because I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Sure.
I was not one of those kids that wanted to be an astronaut.
Right.
I guess if you ask my mom, she'd tell you that my plans from early childhood were to be the Queen of England. That was my life.
Well, turns out it can happen. So I
Right.
had no idea. Yeah.
So other than that, I didn't know what I wanted to be.
Right.
So she took me somewhere to have me assessed by this lady, and they thought that I would do good with a position of authority. And so I decided after that I wanted to be a probation officer.
Oh.
But I wanted to be juvenile probation officer.
Okay.
Because my theory is if you can get to them while they are young, you can make a difference.
Right. Right.
After they've already been in trouble and adult, they don't care.
Right.
Yeah. So I talked to DMAC and the career counselor, whatever lady, and told her that was my plan. And I said, can I do your 2-year program for that? Oh, yep. Went through the 2-year program. In the meantime, I had gotten married. Mistakenly got married. And was getting divorced after that.
Okay.
So it took me a long time to get through this 2-year
Sure.
program.
Sure.
But I got my degree for criminal justice and then went to go try and find a job. And just kidding, you have to have a bachelor's degree to be a probation.
Oh, jeez.
So going back to school again or longer was not an option for me because now I was divorced and a single mom with a baby.
Yeah.
So it was back to 2 or 3 jobs.
Right.
So I have a college degree, but I don't use it.
Right. Right. So when was Jackson born?
Jackson was born in 2013, and that was a deal that I think it was probably unresolved daddy issues.
Yeah.
So I was 21 and he was 33. And So, I mean, kind of backtracking, at my dad's house, my best memories were riding the combine, riding the tractor, sitting out in the shop with him, being him his little gopher, go get me this and that. So I learned early what all the tools were.
Right.
But my most favorite memory is arm wrestling.
Hey everyone, it's Eric from the Well, What Do You Know podcast. One of my favorite parts of this show is getting to sit down and hear real stories from real people, because when we actually listen, we find out we're not so different after all. If you've ever thought, hey, I've got a story worth telling, or you know someone who does, I'd love to hear from you. Just check out the description of this podcast and you'll find my link tree. In there is a guest form to fill out. And keep in mind, there's no cost involved, and I bring the studio to you. So fill out that guest form. I'd really love to talk to you.
My dad arm wrestled, and ever since I can remember, and I would go to the state fair and watch him every year. That was just my highlight.
Right.
And so then, of course, I had to carry that tradition on and keep doing it. So I met Jackson's dad through arm wrestling.
Okay.
I'd seen him a couple different years at the fair arm wrestling and small talk here and there. And then 2012, we started talking at the fair and started hanging out. And that's such a long story.
Yeah, no, we certainly don't have to get into it. But Jackson seems like a great kid, and
yeah, it was very short-lived. Got pregnant right away. We all know how that happens. And thought he was this great person, and I'm like, well, I don't want to have a baby and not be married. I want to be married because I feel like that's the right thing to do. Well, wrong thing to do, because now you're stuck.
Right.
And so, I mean, we only knew each other 3 or 4 months before we got knocked up, and his house had caught on fire, so that's why he lived with me so soon, because he had nowhere to go. And me, miss help everybody.
Yeah.
I let him. Well, you can live here. After a month of knowing him.
Right.
So we got married in the living room of an ordained minister that I knew.
Right.
Like only his family was there and my family was not there. They did not agree with this. You're dumb, basically.
Yeah.
So I had Jackson, and then there was a lot of catching him with other women type stuff, and found out that he was on meth, but I don't do drugs, I didn't know anything about that stuff.
Right.
So, which then resulted in him throwing me out of the car while we were going down the road. When Jackson was 10 months old, he had thrown Jackson in the passenger seat, and with, no car seat or anything, because he was going to steal him from me when I said, we're going to go stay at my mom's for the night. I'm tired of fighting with you. So, I'd have to draw you a picture of how it happened, but he grabbed Jackson. Well, first of all, he had punched my fuse box cover in my car and ripped all my fuses out earlier in the day, so I couldn't leave. And then he took my other car and hopped in it, threw Jackson in the passenger seat, and I come in after him like, you're not taking my kid anywhere like this. You are way messed up. So we're both in the driver's seat, and he's like backing out. And we're in Mingo, so it's not like we're going down the interstate. We're going 20 miles an hour. But I tell you what, concrete at 20 miles an hour still hurts.
Yeah, I bet it does.
So he was headbutting me and twisting my elbow. I was screaming at him that you're going to bust my elbow. And he's like, it was midnight. And I'm trying to roll down the window and hit the parking brake. And I'm screaming for somebody to please help me. Of course, nobody in Mingo, Iowa heard me.
Yeah.
So the last thing he said is, this is where you're getting the F out. And it doesn't even make sense, but he had me by my neck upside down with the door open. And I'm like looking up at him, trying to hang on, and the concrete's going behind my head. And finally I tucked and rolled and got out. And he took off with Jackson. My phone is in the car. I have nothing. So I ran. My aunt and uncle lived in town, and I beat on their door in the middle of the night and used their landline phone to call 911. And I had to.
Were you hurt? You just tuck and rolled on concrete, and you're able to get up and go to.
So there was so much adrenaline,
Yeah.
I think, and sheer panic that this monster has my child.
Right.
And my hips were all bruised. He tore the cartilage in my ear, but nothing that I had to like go to the hospital over. I must be pretty good at tucking and rolling from
Yes, you
getting thrown
must
off
be.
horses.
My goodness.
And if we would have been going, 55, I'd been dead.
Right. Right.
But,
Well, so many things could have happened there. You could have been rolled over by the tire. You could have, but
yep. So I can't even tell you how I got to Colfax to meet the paramedics. I don't know if I must have put the fuses back in my car or something. My other car, because he took off with the second one.
right.
And I remember going to Casey's and asking to use their phone again to call the cops again, like, hello, where are you guys? And they told me to come to the fire station. So I had to go up to the fire department, and they were like trying to check me out on the ambulance, and I declined care, like, no, give me to my kid now.
Right.
And they had put a stop and hold on my car. So they found him. Luckily, we were out of gas in the car.
Oh, yeah.
So they found him at Casey's in Monroe trying to get gas.
So he had gone a decent.
He's from Bussy. He was going back
Okay.
with mom and dad back
Gotcha.
from Bussy.
Okay.
So he got arrested for domestic abuse, and he got a ticket for child endangerment, having Jackson in the front seat, and which apparently is not really a charge. It's just a ticket. And they asked if I wanted to press charges, and I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's when I filed for divorce, and
Right.
like, you don't have to tell me twice.
Right.
I ain't doing that again.
Yeah.
So that started a 10-year-long court battle.
Wow.
And it took me 2 years to get divorced, and I was young. It's not like we had anything to split,
Right,
aside from my
right.
kid. So it's like, you take your truck, I'll take my car, I'll take my kid. Thank you.
Yeah.
That it was like $5,000 alone just to get divorced
Oh my gosh.
for an attorney, and I had nothing. I was a stay-at-home mom from when I was like 8 months pregnant until he was 10 months old when we split.
Wow.
Jake let me stay home,
Right.
so I had no money,
Right.
and luckily I was like getting a tax refund back or something soon,
Right.
so I had a little bit to start an attorney. Had to go take the first job I could find instantly, which was at Mid-States Utility Trailers in Altoona.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how I got into the semi world, which has led to different. I've worked at Freightliner and Iowa Truck and Trailer.
Right.
I enjoyed working in a man's world doing that stuff.
Right.
So it's probably because I was halfway telling men what to do all day.
There's that authority thing that you were
Yes.
begged for.
So I spent $70,000 on my attorney over the course of 10 years,
Wow.
and which really sets you back.
Yeah.
And attorneys don't accept IOUs.
Right. Right.
So you had to open up credit card after credit card and max them out with the attorneys to just fight for my kid.
Right.
And 'cause there was no way I was letting him go with a meth head and a woman beater. Just
Right.
who in their right mind would.
Right.
So I worked multiple jobs and did everything I could to scrape by. And credit cards have like 28% interest.
Right.
So not only did I pay the $70,000, I paid the 28% interest on it.
Right. Wow.
Which led to my dad having to give me a credit card consolidation loan and another one through the bank, and I was in debt for a long time.
Right.
I'm almost now finally out of debt.
Given everything you just told me, the fact that you are a business owner now is even more impressive than I thought it was, when I was driving here. So tell me how Kelsey's Diner came about.
So, Jackson's dad had gotten me fired from Iowa Truck and Trailer.
Okay.
It was every other weekend he had to go over there, and I had to work Saturdays. So for whatever reason, he didn't invite me at the time for Friday nights. It was just Saturday night to Sunday over the weekend. So I would bring Jackson with me Saturday to Altoona. His girlfriend at the time or his mom would come pick Jackson up from there. Well, the girlfriend, who now her and I are pretty good friends, the now ex-girlfriend. But at the time, of course, she was just like I was at one point, completely on his side and blindsided by it. She showed up without a car seat, and Jackson was like 2 a year, and she was trying to take him. I'm like, you can't take him without a car seat.
Right.
You have 5 children. How do you not know this?
Right.
And so I hit him with my mechanics and said, you're not taking him. Sorry, I got to get back to work.
Right.
And she, of course, called Jake, and he called the cops, and so the cops are coming to investigate, and they told her the same thing. You have to have a car seat for a child.
Right.
But it caused a commotion at work. And so I took it upon myself to email my boss, because it was me running the show there. It was just me and the mechanics, and that was it. And I emailed my boss and said, just before you hear it from somebody else, this is what happened. And I got fired for causing a scene. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. But
So, hold up. You emailed your boss and just laid it all out there. This is what happened. This is why it happened.
this is why the cops.
And his response was, "You're fired." Yeah. Okay.
Can't have that here. That doesn't look good for business with the cops in and out all day, and it was interfering with your job. So.
The first time it ever happened, though, or first time anything like that had happened there, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so no grace.
Nope.
No grace there. Okay.
And I believe it was close to my birthday.
Jeez. Wow.
So, and it's the only place I think I've ever been fired from in my life. I'm a really hard worker, and it's like I was making $18-19 an hour plus monthly bonus, and I was doing well, but I did not end well. So I got a job at a couple different jobs in between until I found Freightliner, or Harrison Truck Centers back then in Altoona, and worked for them. And I just did not like corporate world where you have to wear your name on your shirt.
Right.
I don't like that. And you've got no voice, no say, no nothing. And at the time, I had really reconnected with my dad. And I was like, look, your farm, you've worked your whole life for it, and your dad worked his whole life for it, and none of your kids really, aside from me, have anything to do with it,
Right.
And it would just break my heart to know that all of your hard work, what's going to happen when you die? Is just get sold? I said, I think I can do it. I want to do it. I want to come work for you. But I can't just come work for you on the weekends when I'm off the work here.
Right.
That's not enough knowledge. I need to work full time for you. So I put my 2-week notice in at Freightliner and started working for Dad. And I worked for him for at least 3 years. And then it was, one of us has to go. I love my dad, but one of us was going to kill each other.
Right.
So there's the wrong way to do things, and there's the Randy Lust way, and that's it.
Yeah.
And he's good at what he does. He's very, very successful. I mean, he's got money in the bank, and he's done something right. So I left there, and somewhere in the course of there, when Jackson was a year old, I got a job promotion at Mid-States Utility and Trailers, but it was in Sioux City if I wanted the promotion.
Okay.
So I asked my lawyer, can I move to Sioux City? So long as you're bettering yourself and not doing it to keep him away from his dad.
Right.
Hadn't heard from his dad in a year anyway, so it's fine. Moved to Sioux City for 6 months. Come back. There's a restaurant in Baxter that used to be Granny's when I was growing up. And
Best cinnamon rolls ever.
Yep. So it was closed down from COVID.
Yeah.
And Al and Jeannie Conover, no, I'm sorry, I worked there for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to when I was working for my dad and needed to get away, it was during COVID time. And so this restaurant, I don't even know why I thought about it, to be honest. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, my mom's self-employed at her hair salon. My dad's self-employed. And I got no freaking idea what I'm supposed to do in life. Just in my head, I thought if I was not self-employed, I really wasn't living up to my parents, I guess. And you're supposed to supersede your parents. So I saw this restaurant sitting there empty that I know I had at least worked at one point in time.
You saw it ran.
I
And
knew all the ins and outs, and I busted my butt there. I mean, I worked a lot of overtime, and as long as I could, covered everybody's shifts. So I reached out to Al and Jeannie Conover, the current owners, and I said, what do you want this restaurant? Well, nothing. It's been sitting for a year. I said, would you rent it to me? I think I can run it. I think I can do it, and I think I can do a good job. And we kind of hem-hawed around. She wanted me to buy it. I said, absolutely not.
All right.
I've seen this place turn hands like 6 times since I was here, you know. And with the economy, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
So she agreed to rent it to me, and we came up with a deal. And I just winged it. Completely winged it.
That's awesome.
And figured out how to do everything and gathered recipes from, you know, my grandma and my mom and my aunt, my great aunt, everybody, my stepmom, and made a go at it. And I wasn't getting rich by any means, but I was working a lot of hours.
Right.
So definitely was not the definition of working smarter, not harder. It was a lot of hours, and so Jackson kind of suffered for that because he was either with me all the time, having to go to work after daycare or after school all night, or when he got older, he was home by himself every night, you know, raising himself. He's,
Right.
I think that's called a latchkey kid or something.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
right.
sure.
It was in the 80s, yes.
So Jackson has learned how to fend for himself, and after almost 2 years of doing that, I probably shouldn't admit this, but I was Facebooking while I was driving. I was heading to the gym in Collins to just, I went through a stage where I thought I needed to work out. I don't know.
Right.
I hate working out. Absolutely hate it. And I see on Facebook this ad in Colo that looking for management of Nyland's Cafe. So at one point in time, I had worked at, it used to be Farmers Co-op, FC in Collins, and we had eaten at Nyland's. You know, we would order, so I was familiar with the place. So to me, when I see an ad that says looking for management, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna manage, I'm gonna get a paycheck.
Right. You're
go
gonna
home.
be hired by somebody.
Yes,
Right.
And I think that's what most of the town assumed I was doing, because come to find out, nobody really knew that it was all on me. So when I get there, we had to negotiate the rent amount. I'm like, oh, thought I was going to be a manager. I won't tell you how much I pay for rent, but just know that I'm a very good negotiator. And I got my first 3 months rent free.
Awesome.
They wanted $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're nuts.
And at that time, you were doing both, right? You're doing both
Had both
restaurants?
of them.
Yeah.
So I got a really good, you can't even rent an apartment for what I rent restaurant and motel for.
Yeah.
And I opened that. I mean, it took months of getting it ready, whatever, got everything all done. And the day that I opened, my opening ceremony at Colo was the day that my cook did a no-call, no-show at Baxter.
Oh, jeez.
Talk about panic. Like,
Yeah.
how do you be at 2 places at once?
Right.
And it was just trouble from there with Baxter because I wasn't there every day at
Right.
Colo.
Right.
And Baxter works great if I'm the one doing all the cooking, so I don't have to pay anybody else.
Right.
But now I'm at Colo every day, and I'm paying a crap ton more in payroll at Baxter that the money's just not there. So Colo was floating Baxter. So I decided to close Baxter. I had both of them for like 6 months and closed Baxter. And Colo, I mean, winter sucks. Really sucks. Business slows way down, but you still have the people there. You still have the payroll.
Right.
And you might have a busy day, so you have to have the same amount of people there on staff.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, it goes really well.
Good.
And it was a lot of work, a lot of hours, and money and stress, and anxiety, not knowing if it was going to work or not. And, you know, you always have people calling in, and the kids these days are just so entitled.
Yeah.
And mom and dad pay for everything, so they really don't have to work.
Right.
And, you know, they're glued to their cell phone. And I'm guilty of it sometimes too, but not when I'm at work. If somebody's paying you to do a job, put your freaking phone down and do the job. So that's a struggle every day, and calling in because, oh, my dog is sick. Like, just be honest with me. You know, I appreciate honesty so much more than a lie. If I have days that I don't want to go in.
Right.
If you're having a rough day and you just don't have it in you, just tell me.
Right.
I don't have it in me. I can't come to work. And I will make it
Make a habit of it, but
yes. Like, pull on your big girl panties and get to work. But I get it, you know.
Right.
I have plenty of days. Jackson and I were just talking last night that, don't you think that I do things all day long that I don't want to do? But if you want to have any money and be successful or get anywhere in life, you got to go to work.
Right. So we've been at this for a really long time, and speaking of work, I know you have to get there. So I want to wrap it up with a couple of questions if we can. So I always like to ask people this question. Give me the person or people who have been that positive in your life that's really shaped who you are.
Well, at different stages in my life with different people, I assume that's probably normal.
Yep.
As far as high school, you were, I mean, not buttering you up. I mean, seriously, you were a big role model for me. And I did my senior letter to you that.
Yes, you did. I still have that.
That, you know, I appreciate you. And TR was another one. You know, TR, I don't quite know how it worked out, but he lived with my grandma at one point in time.
Okay.
My first day at Baxter, roll call, Kelsey Lust? Do you know Ruth Lust? Yeah, that's my grandma. Why? And so I went asking questions. I don't know if he was homeless at some point in time, but she took him in and helped him.
Wow.
So, anyways,
So that runs in the family.
Yes. So, you and TR were big in high school. And after high school, I mean, my mom and dad, my mom and I had a real rough time, but we have a great relationship now and have for a long time. And so is my dad. I mean, my mom has taught me, you know, so much love and caring and, you know, trying to do the right thing all the time. And my dad has taught me, you work like a dog. Work like a dog and get it done. Have something at the end of your life.
Right.
You know, you don't want to have nothing. So those are huge to me. And Kenny Nelson, a.k.a. Skippy from Newton, was my high school boyfriend's dad. And he taught me how to change my oil and how to change tires when I didn't have anybody to teach me that stuff.
Right.
And really got my interest of figure it out,
Right.
fix it. I still work on my own cars. Like, you don't even want to know all the stuff I've been doing to my cars. I just changed an AC compressor by myself. I mean, I do all kinds of stuff. And that taught me that you do it yourself. You don't rely on anybody else to do it. And so that was a big thing for me. I think every girl needs to know how to change your oil and how to change a tire.
Yeah.
And so that was huge. And since then, I mean, now my manager and my very, very good friend is Jessica McKinney. And Jessica, for two women working together a lot for, 3 years, 4 years, I don't think we've ever had one argument. There was one time that I know I got pretty mad and I had to go slam the pantry closet door and pout for a minute. And then I come back out and she's like, I'm sorry, I was a witch. But she motivates me. She is a hard worker. And I have so much respect and appreciation for that.
Yeah.
And my main cook, John Fritz, he owned the country house in Colo for all those years. And now he cooks, like, everybody comes to my place for John's cooking. And it's not for me.
Yeah.
And he's 70-some years old and still a beast in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I just have so much respect for that too. And if I didn't have them, the restaurant would not be successful.
Right.
So those are the people that have really influenced my life. I'm sure there's probably more if I really sat and thought about it, but those are the big people. I mean, obviously my parents, and my boyfriend John is, my newest influence.
Yeah.
And he is.
But you said 2 years, right? So
going on 2 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So he's just turned 40, and I'm just turned 34. But he's got several hundred acres of farmland and a couple hundred cattle that he's done himself. He didn't have, handed down farming. He's first generation farm.
That's awesome.
And he's made
it's
some
tough to do now.
Yeah. So I have a lot of respect for that. I know that he thinks I compare him to my dad a lot because, it's always, I don't have as much money as your dad does, but you will. Yeah. You will. My dad doesn't have
Every girl does that.
I'm like, my dad has 40 years on you. Right. 20 years at least on you, and he didn't have what he has now at your age.
Right.
He don't have it, and so that's I do have a spending problem. I like to shop. Okay, retail therapy is my thing. That's how I deal with my stress.
This first step is admitting it. So
Yes.
You're there.
So he has helped me with that a lot, and my dad has tried, but he's like, "Is it a want or a need? We're being frugal here."
So last question: what? And you can pick any aspect of what we've talked about, but what advice would you give 14-year-old Kelsey? And in turn, you're giving advice to anybody around that age that might be listening.
Then it's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
it's totally gonna be okay. And I have a foster kid here now, Kaylee, and in her words, it's not that deep. It's not that deep, bro.
Yeah, nice. I like that.
But work hard.
Yeah.
Be something, accomplish something, and you will feel better about yourself.
Yeah. It's awesome. Yep. Well, this has been amazing. This has been the most honest, and this is exactly what I thought it would be, Kelsey. The most honest and open conversation that I've had so far. So I really appreciate it, and thank you for making time for me today.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Jackson is itching. He wants to talk in the microphone.
Swing that microphone over to you. Yep, we are right there. Go ahead, Jackson. Jackson, how old are you?
I'm 12.
Okay.
Living with my mom and John.
Yeah.
People of the podcast, hope you enjoyed. Jackson out.
All right, very good. We'll end there. Thanks, man.
Thank you for listening to Well, What Do You Know? The podcast created to tell people's stories. Everybody's got a story, and every story is worth saving.
The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Well, What Do You Know podcast, P Square Design, Pagitech LLC, or our sponsors. The Well, What Do You Know podcast, its parent company, and its sponsors are not responsible for any statements made by guests during the recording or publication of this episode.